Welcome to Daytona. Well, today we have the season finale for the Bonfire Racing League, race number 15 of the season for the Cavok 250 here from the Virtual World Center of Racing. And today we got 250 miles for 100 laps to see who will win the final race of the season and who will win the respective Pro and Am championships today. As entering today, we have Jason Landry on the top in the Pro standings by 65 points over David Medina Sr. And in the AM standings, we have Ricky Mandela Sr. 79 points above of Jose Medina. So those drivers, Ricky Mandela and Jason Landry, looking really strong to win the championship in 100 laps time. But first, before we get to the race today we have qualifying to settle here from Daytona first. So these drivers, 2 laps, 10 minutes to set their lap. So we'll see who will be able to put it on the pole for today's Cavok 250. So on the track right now, we're looking at Ricky Mandela, our AM points standings leader, looking to try and take the race, the AM championship, and he can get the race win today as well. Ricky Mandela on this first lap here, down the back straightaway. Down to the turn, a little bit higher up the racetrack though. So I think it'll be a great lap. So we can maybe get it down a little bit closer on that yellow line. You kind of want to get an arc a little bit, as long as you don't just kind of force the car off the bottom or force the car down there. It should be very fast. You gotta be very smooth. Just don't force the car. Let it just drive itself. These drivers have 1 lap as Ricky Mandela shuts it down. 50.306 for lap number 1. Jake Johnson will go P2 there as he sets his lap. Jose Medina to the top of the board. Jose Medina on lap number 2 here, 50.299 for his first lap. Number 2 a little bit low on the racetrack. He comes up down the back straight a little bit higher. Now it starts to navigate a little bit lower. Actually already slowing down, so lap 1, this lap is complete. David Owens on his lap, coming to the line to complete. It will be a 50.427. I'll set him P8. Not a great qualifying lap there. Gerald Rose on his lap, down the back straightaway into turn number 3, a little bit lower on the racetrack here. Just a little bit, going to be trying to arc into the corner, but it's going to be way off the line. See what he can do here. Gerald Rose off of turn number 4, down the front straightaway, coming to the trial. Where does Gerald Rose go on the board? Coming to the line, he's going to come to the apron. It'll be a 50.343. It will be a solid lap there, P6 for the 54 machine of Gerald Rose. Joseph Walpus now starting his lap. Good line down to the turn number 1. Enter very low on that bottom. He slides up the racetrack just a little bit through 1 and 2. Looks very strong so far. We'll see how well he can keep it off at turn number 2. He's actually not going to arc it out. Instead of the bottom, you want to try and get a little bit of arc off the corner. You don't want to kind of force it and pin it down to the bottom. You need to scrub a lot of speed doing that down there. But down to the 3, looks very strong again. Looks like a very strong lap for Joseph Walpus. 3 and 4. Walpus going to come off turn number 4 here. We're see where can he go here to the in qualifying to stay on the racetrack. Coming to the line, it will be a 53.35 for Joseph Walpus. It will put him P6. Zach Engel coming off turn 4. David Medina also not too far behind him. So Zach Engel here off of turn number 4. What can he do? Can he put it on the pole? Don't think it will be enough. 50.437. It will slot in to P11, and David Medina Sr. hops into P5. Nick Mills on his lap. We also have other drivers getting ready to start their lap. Jason Landry being one of those. We'll keep an eye on that. Nick Mills looking strong so far here on the bottom. Off to number 2, can stay pretty low though. Down to turn number 3. A little bit higher up the racetrack for Nick Mills. Looks fairly strong though, looks very smooth to the corner. Stay a little bit lower out the corner here. We'll see if he dives into the apron, coming to the line. He's a step on the racetrack, but Nick Mills coming to the line. At the line, it'll be a 50.323 solid lap there for Nick Mills. Here we go, P5, the only driver to stay under the 3 is Timothy for now. Paul Ferdiani at 50.275. Paul Ferdiani to the top of the board with that. So Paul Ferdiani, what a great lap there for that 33 machine. Puts it on the top of the board. I'll see, where does Jason Landry go? Jason Landry looks very strong though. Looks like he's going to have a good arc into turn number 3. Came off of turn number 2 pretty ideally where you want to be. Looks down into turn 3 and 4. Very strong lap. This looks very good for Jason Landry. We'll see what he can do here on his lap. Really be enough to top Paul Ferdiani. Take him off the pole. Jason Landry coming to the line. He's just come to the apron. They're trying to shorten that up a little bit to the line. 50.315. Not enough for Jason Landry. He will slide into P6. Joe Kelly completed his lap. 50.312. David Brenner completes his lap. 50.379. So that's 16th there for David Brenner. But Paul Ferdiani, a great lap there as he practiced pit road entry. And he's only 3 minutes left in these qualifying. We have 7 drivers yet to go out on the racetrack. But Paul Ferdiani, currently our pole sitter, with a 50.275. No other driver out on the racetrack just yet. They have to start their time by 40 seconds to even have a chance at completing it. Well, 50 seconds. So they got to get out now pretty much. They can't wait much longer. And 2 drivers will go out on the racetrack. Eric Gambrill and Sam Milliken will roll out on the racetrack at the last possible moments. So Gambrill coming off the apron now. Get up to speed. Milliken also doing the same. Not much time. They look pretty slow on the exit of pit road though, so we'll see if Gambrill can keep going. Gonna try and keep it rolling here. Slowly getting up to speed. So Gambrill gonna come to the line to start his lap. Gonna have enough time to complete it. Gonna have just about 20 seconds to spare once he crosses the line. But starts his first lap. Looks pretty high in the trial there. Let's see where he'll be able to slot in. Go down to turn number 1, a little bit higher up the racetrack. Now that bump entering turn 1 really shoots him off the racetrack to the middle of the racetrack. So you have enough time to complete it. Does Sam Milliken have enough time? Sam Milliken has enough time, but Brandon Shelton on the track. He's just getting on the apron, so he won't have enough time to even start his lap. So only 2 drivers yet to get set a lap time right now. Gambrill coming to the line here through 3 and 4. Up the racetrack. So you can kind of get a run and put him somewhere in the top 15 possibly. But Eric Gambrill not looking like it's a strong lap. He's trying to get a lap on the board, but Gambrill to the line at that 46 machine will run a 50.459. It will slot him P19. Sam Milliken, the last driver to set a lap time here. Going to cut down into the trial, looking across the line with 11 seconds left on the clock. 50.441. It will go P18 for Sam Milliken. that will wrap up qualifying here from Daytona. And that means Paul Ferdiani, our pole sitter for the race tonight for the Cavok 250, the final race of the season. As today, we crown 2 champions here at the Virtual World Center of Racing. Before we get to our starting lineup here today from Daytona, let's hear or go down to Larry McReynolds for our command.
Good morning, everybody. Larry McReynolds here with NASCAR and Fox. You know, America's crew chief. Welcome to the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. You know the deal. All right, all right, all right. Drivers, start your engines. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go iRacing.
Thank you, Larry, for that. As our engines are fired, are ready to go for 250 miles, 100 laps here today for the season finale of the Bonfire Racing League. And let's see how they will roll off here for the final race of the season. Starting on the pole, as we just saw, with a 50.275, the 33 of Paul Ferdiani. He will start on the pole. Alongside him will be the 54 of Jose Medina, as 2 AM drivers will lead the field to green. We'll see if the AM drivers have a chance to take the win today. Starting P number 3 will be Ricky Mandela in the 3 machine. Jake Johnson will start 4th. And that 409 machine is not really a car number on the pace scheme there. Jared Kelly in the 55, he'll start 5th. Jax Duvall will start 6th. Our first 2 pro drivers, as they'll line up on row number 3. Jason Langer will start 7th. Our pro points leader, Nick Mills, will start alongside him in that 20 machine in 8th. Starting 9th will be the David Duty, the senior in the 9 machine. And running at the top 10 will be the 913 of Richard Mudrich. Joseph Elvis will start 11th in the 11 machine, and Gerald Rose will start 12th. Starting 13th will be the 27 of Michael Sara. Jake Ashe will start 14th. Starting 15th will be the 43 of Zach Clausen, and David Brunner will start 16th in the 22 machine. Starting 17th will be the 47 of Zach Engel. Sam Milliken will start 18th. Starting 19th will be the 8 of David Owens, and Eric Gabriel will start 20th. Starting 21st today will be the 37 of Chris Smith, and Brady Finley will start 22nd. Starting 23rd will be Kyle Lynott, and starting 24th will be Todd Dunn. Starting 25th, starting 26th will be Brandon Shelton. 25th not showing up on the ticker there, but running your 26-car field will be Brandon Shelton, as he will round out the field today. So 26 drivers ready to get going and underway for the final race of the season. Jason Landry, solid points lead over Dave Medina Sr. in the pro point standings, and Ricky Mandela, solid points lead in the AM point standings. All they have to do is just finish it cleanly today, and they will be the champions when we in 100 laps time. But Paul Ferdiani, Jose Medina are on the front row. And as so far this season, it has been all pro drivers to win the race, and we head to Daytona, a super speedway, maybe a wild card, Can-Am driver, go out on top and end the season with a win. We'll find out in just 250 miles, probably just over about an hour and a half's time here at Daytona. For the Virtual World Center of Racing, the season finale for the Bonfire Racing League, ready to get underway. It'll be the 33 of Paul Ferdiani and the 54 of Jose Medina. We'll take it to the green. The iRacing pace car pulls off for the first time of the race for the final time this season. And at the restart zone, green flags in the air. We're underway here from Daytona. And quick jumping to the outside will be the 3 of Ricky Mandela, but no help on the outside as Paul Ferdiani holds the lead with Jared Kelly pushing him into turn number 3. Jason Landry right behind Jared Kelly. Ricky Mandela, no help on the outside lane, not able to get anything working right now, but Jose Medina push that 3 machine on the outside lane to try and get the outside lane moving just a little bit. But down the front straightaway into the tri-oval for the first time today, Paul Ferdiani will lead lap number 1 of the race. The outside lane starting to struggle a little bit already. She'll fall back just a tad bit. Slovenia has a penalty from the restart. Has a penalty from the start of the race, so maybe got a little bit too far ahead. We got the penalty with the start zone, so we'll see if that will be cleared or if that will have to be served. As he'll drop to the back as he moves up the racetrack, but now everyone is falling back. The outside lane nowhere to be found, as the only driver up front on the outside is the 8 of David Owens. As the 20 of Nick Mills right behind him, trying to get that outside lane moving from the inside. Quickly slots in line. Everybody's just settled in early here today at Daytona. The outside lane is struggling to get moving early. Paul Ferdiani still leading the field here early. Lap number 3 of the race. The inside lane going to be the dominant one all day long. So it's been all week long here along the IRC service. The inside lane being very dominant. Has a shorter distance to be able to get the run. It's so much harder to get that, make the outside lane work with that happening. Because the outside lane, you also have to make up the distance and also try to get the run, which the run is very hard to get already. So these drivers making the outside lane work, it's going to be really tough to do that throughout the day. So far, the inside lane is still dominated by at least 5-6 cars, but now Ricky Mandela, he'll hop up as we're getting an outside lane starting to form now. David Medina, he'll hop up, but actually right behind him, one car gets to his outside again there. I believe that is Joseph Ball. Actually, it is Joseph Ball. Joseph Ball can see when he gets to the outside there. And down the front straightaway, the outside lane starts to move as David Medina pulls up to the outside once again, trying to get something moving. The outside lane starts to form rough early here now. As some drivers want to move their way up to the front of the racetrack, up to the front of the field. Unable to get much moving though out on the outside just yet. Strong board with David Medina here. Trying to lead the outside lane. You just got a side draft down on the inside lane. You really have to get aggressive with the side draft. Missing Bills will hop up on the outside lane here. And the lap machine coming up here, so they have to also navigate that lap car there early. I believe that is Jose Medina. Which is not Jose Medina. That is simply Sam Milligan. A lap down early. Jose Medina is actually pulling off the racetrack. Service penalty, yet to service penalty, but Milliken into the wall. Well, a little bit of damage there, a lot of damage. He's going to keep it straight, but no caution will stay green. That's going to hurt the outside lane even more now, as now the outside lane pretty much non-existent. Oh, bring the car around to the back! Did Brandon Finley hard to the outside wall. Hits the outside wall, blows his engine, and he will pull it down on the apron, keeps it straight again, but no caution will stay green. Let's take a look at what happened here. Hard hit to the outside wall. Really hard hit there for Brandon Finley. Unfortunate timing. Let's take a look at what happened here in the turn number 3. A stack up in front of him, and he hits Jake O'Shea, and then Gerald Rose, no time to react, just gets to the back bumper, and he gets loose and hard overcorrects to the outside wall for Brandon Finley. That sends him around to stay green, but a lot of these drivers now, as not many trying to make any moves right now. Everyone's trying to stay alive at this point, but Gerald Rose only down to 13 cars in this lead pack after that. As the second pack pulling to the back here, Joseph Alpus lost the draft. Brandon Shelton, Kyle Ladott, Ricky Mandela, all loose in the draft. Now Jose Medina out on the racetrack. He is 2 laps down. So he is the first driver 1 lap down, but first driver lap around. But we'll see if he can get moving. Maybe get a lucky caution. Maybe he can get back on the lead lap later in this one. The fall for Annie still holds the race lead. Everyone's just navigating around Jose Medina, single file through the field so far, but actually Jose Medina kind of breaking up that pack a little bit. Actually forcing David Owens and the rest of the pack going to the outside. Right, starting to lose touch a little bit, but now they're going to start to gain that back as Jose Medina is going to be able to tag along in the middle of the pack. It's a little bit of fronting damage as well already. Now that kind of forces this lane to the outside, this line of cars to the outside. They're going to stick to the outside. They're going to try and make it work. David Turner going to push David Owens out of the turn 3. They're working pretty strong right now. They get the 913 right behind them. Richard Modric right behind. Modric pushing Brenner, pushing Owens. 4 cars on the outside, starting to make something happen. They're slowly working their way forward. They get alongside Nick Mills down to turn 1. That's that outside lane starting to make some ground as we reach further and further into the night in the sim. And it's going to get colder and a little bit more grippy as well, so we're going to get a little bit more aggressive with it. A little bit faster through the corner. So for the outside lane, not making much work right now. As now the 2 of them already falling back to the back of the pack there. Modric and Ashe will just pull up in the back of the pack there and hop back in line. And Owens and Brenner will do the same. So now we lead the field. Now we have single file through the field early on here. That looks for Paul Ferdiani to clear track ahead. Nothing to worry about right now. It's just single file, but the outside lane not really forming. As you kind of see in the mirror back there, there's a few cars trying to make it work once again. Out there on the top lane. Leslie Medina trying to make something happen. David Owens right in front of him, but a little bit, it looks like a pretty heavy left front damage there for Jose Medina. Costing him some speed, and that's not going to help that outside lane. Now they're going to fall back once again. That's a lane trying to get something happening, but it's just only 3 cars right now. Not much able to work so far. Trying to get that outside lane moving, but they're kind of making it work now. See, inside lane starting to track up just a little bit. They're starting to side draft that inside lane back, and that's really what you have to do. You really got to get aggressive with the side draft if you want to get that outside lane moving. You can't just kind of just hang around like you used to, right? To be able to, you really have to side draft hard. You can't just kind of relax up there and just try and get the outside lane moving. So far working well for these drivers on the outside. He's going to try and have a fourth one join them up there. This is going to be Modric on the outside lane. He's going to have a Shea hop up as well. So now we're going to have 5 cars led by the lap machine of Jose Medina. And now Nick Mills hops up, but he hops back down. So thinks better of it. And now Medina, and now the outside lane quickly dies off there. They're going to fall all the way back behind Gio Cruz once again. Outside the top 10, but this is all the battle. This is the first top 13 of the field. Everyone else really far back. Brandon Shelton leading a smaller pack of 5 seconds behind. And there's also a smaller, even little, just a tad bigger pack, a little bit farther behind there. 7 seconds out of there, the next pack. So pretty far for this pack, and led by Dave Vegas, who's not what he wanted to have happen. So far, a single file through the main pack for now, and not much really happening. Fernier leads the field. Jared Kelly's still sitting there in seconds. Keep an eye on the second pack. There's still about 5.2 seconds, but the gap is kind of staying the same right now. Both packs single file. Everyone just kind of taking their time. No one really being aggressive so far. The outside lane is starting to work a little bit more now, as the outside lane is starting to try to make a move up through the field. So trying to get that outside lane working has been David Owens. David Owens been the first one to get up there, but that pack now is really starting to come back to them as Brandon Shelton. That Brandon Shelton pack down to 4.3 seconds between O'Shea and Brandon Shelton. O'Shea being the tail end of this lead pack. But now it's Sergio Modric. That gap only about 4.4 seconds. And that's the only. It wants to give about a second. It's also Jose Medina, but I don't really have the gap between Medina and that pack, because Medina's a lap down, so we can get that pack there. The gap's about 4.5 seconds, but now that's also going back to being pretty much really going to focus that on Modric now, as he's the tail end of this pack. Well, the gap is about 4 seconds, and Brandon Shelton in that second pack of 5 cars really starting to close the gap in. It's about 4 seconds down between these two packs. They get within a second, they can get in that draft. Last time by, they were just a tad bit slower. They're starting to reel that gap in for that second pack, so doing a lot of hard work there in the pack number 2. Making it work down at 3.9 seconds. So, and now they're actually going to get the help of Jose Medina here, so they'll be able to get the draft of him, and they'll help those drivers gain a little bit more time. Now it's only a pack of 4 now, as Ricky Manello is starting to fall off. The Moon lost the draft of this pack. Ricky Manello, our AM points leader, really can't have a bad race. He's got Jose Medina, but Jose Medina having an even worse race. Second is David Buell not here today, so Thomas Knox the next one closest, and that's 162 points. I don't think he'll make that up today. So looking strong for Rick Mandela. as long as he just finishes the race, he has this one, has the AM championship locked up. But this pack down to about 4.2, so now they stagnate about 4.2 seconds. The outside lane up front, though, make it something that's starting to happen. Is now we have about 4 or 5 cars up the outside lane, starting to make something happen, getting very aggressive on the side draft, getting really good with the pushes, really even with the pushes. As on the outside lane, they're going to side draft that inside lane back as much as they can. Outside lane working pretty well so far. Now they're starting to fall back just a little bit, so it's going to have a spin. So they get a little bit of a run forming, but then they kind of start to back off a little bit. So kind of what happens, but they're trying to make something happen. These drivers are gonna have to be getting ready for pit stops soon. The fuel anywhere from 28 to 32 laps. So these drivers could make it on a 2-stop strategy. It is possible. So I mean, actually, maybe 31 and a half is probably the farthest they're gonna be able to go. That's about 45 laps on a normal tank. They have about 30. They have a 70% fuel tank. So they really have to try to make 33, 34. I don't think they can really do that. So it's probably anywhere from 28 to 32 laps is all they're going to be able to do. These drivers are going to have to pit within the next 10 laps. And also, we could see some teammates try to work together, maybe try to undercut and undercut the field, and maybe try and get out in front. When you have a small group of 4 or 5, they maybe might be able to jump the field if they all pit together and push pretty well. But so far, no one is hitting just yet. Everyone's going to have to make a 3-stop race, so they're going to want to try and go 25 laps at least. We won't be able to make it on a 2-stop from here. It's going to be a 3-stop race, so you could split it every 25 laps if you could, but you also got to get a group of people, drivers who want to do that. We'll have to see if any group works together, maybe try to shorten it early. But on that second pack, down to 2.5 seconds, they're closing the gap in. Could see that the lead pack become a pack of 18 drivers. So we can he has tagged along to this main pack, the second pack now. The gap down to 2.3 seconds between those drivers. David Brenner now to the tail end of this lead pack. As we will see the gap between those 2 packs now down to 2.2 seconds. And last time by, the pack being a tad faster, but now for Andy going to go around the outside of some lap machines. 6 tenths of a second faster for that second pack, and now they're going to have some lap machines they can tag along with if they kind of fall between that gap. 1.9 seconds. The lead pack has to go around the long way, and the bottom 4 here, we're a little shuffled out. The back 4 of this lead pack was a little shuffled out, and now they're gonna have to go around the long way. Now the lap cars kind of join in that pack. Lap cars join within that pack, and that actually hurts them up, or slows them up a little bit. They almost lost their draft, but they tagged along. About to shut into the other pack. See the pack just in front of them, only 2 seconds. They know how close they are. They need about 1 more second, maybe just a little bit more than a second. They can get within it. They can get to this pack's draft, and they can start to reel them in even more. The gap's a 1.7. So that pack trying to make some move. The second pack trying to get back to the third pack was led by Kevin Kyle, 17 seconds off the second pack. So they will not catch this pack, no doubt. So Eric Gambrell, he tags along in this lead pack with Chris Smith. So those are the two that were getting lapped by the lead pack here. They got 1.2, and I believe they're pretty much there now. 1.1, and they're within that draft range of now for the second pack. Brandon Shelton, Joseph Walters, Kyle Lynott, Jackson Ball, Ricky Mandela. Hard work, it's going to pay off. They're made over 5 seconds back, even 6 seconds back up to the lead pack. Working together well, and a great drive for those second pack as they have tagged along to the tail end of this lead pack. We'll see if they try to move back up to the top lane, try to get something happening. Jackson Ballville, he's going to hop into the outside lane. I have a deep run from a Kyle Lynott, but he's going to try and get an outside lane moving. He works pretty well at it. We have a few drivers coming out pit road. A lot of drivers coming out pit road here early. As about half the lead pack there coming out pit road. Paul Ferdigan, Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Nick Mills, Michael Sarr, all coming out pit road. The lap machine as well. Chris Smith comes down. So early pit stop here, lap number 28. So this was probably the earliest stop of the window we saw. That's about 20. It's probably about 40 laps from a normal tank of fuel. These drivers only have 70% fuel tank of what they usually have. Drivers in and out of pit road. They'll see the rest of the lead pack. They're all going to come down this time by. So everyone down pit road here, lap number 28. Everyone looking strong for now. Everyone looking good on pit entry. So no penalties on pit road. So it looks like a lot of those drivers in that first pit stop took fuel only. Could have got away with 2 tires there. But really all that matters is just coming to the exit. But we'll see, where does Paul Ferdiani, but now he falls back to 3rd after that pit stop. Jared Kelly. But now these 5 actually pulled away a little bit from the rest of the pack that pitted. They're trying to get out in front of the rest of the field. Richard Modric leads the second pack off pit road. Really good pit stop. He was in the tail end of that lead pack to now he's going to be leading the lead pack possibly as he's way out in front of everybody else. David Owens and Richard Modric, really good pit stop as they're actually way out in front. Really good pit stop for theirs. There's Jake O'Shea, but here comes Jerry Kelly and the rest of the field. They're actually going to get behind. They're actually going to catch David Owens. David Owens and Richard Modric, really good pit stop. They're actually going to get caught like a sitting ducks here. Really good pit stop for those 2 drivers, but no one else to help them here. But they'll be able to tag along and maybe cycle up front here. But that second pack, they really split up. As Kyle Lynott and a lot of these drivers slower pit stops. As now they're going to have to kind of catch back up once again. And definitely feel for Jackson Ball and Kyle Lynott. They just lost the lead. They just got the lead pack, and now they got to do it all over again. They got to catch that lead pack by more than 3 seconds. It just has to feel demoralizing in a way if you're just caught the back, and now you got to lose them, and now you lost them again from pit stops. So not a great pit stops for about half of that lead pack. As now that lead pack only down to 7 drivers out in front. So these drivers, David Owens, Jason Landry, Paul Ferdiani, Mills, Jared Kelly, Richard Modric, and Michael Sarr, really strong pit stops. Those 7 drivers are going to be all by themselves out in front. Jake O'Shea, 2.5 seconds back by himself. He's going to have to tag along to the lead, the second pack here. They're going to try and get that second pack moving. So they're going to be about 3 seconds back as they're going to go around Jake O'Shea. O'Shea will try to tag along here, but Jake Johnson and Ricky Mandela losing the pack as well, so those drivers struggling on pit road. So now we have a pack of 2 packs of 7 here. The lap machine there between Eric Gambrell. David Owens in the last lead pack. They'll go around the lap machine of Zach Clausen. Zach Clausen, another driver, struggling on pit road there. single file to the lead pack right now. The gap for that second pack about 3.6 seconds. So they're trying to claw that lead pack back in. See if they can do it again. They did it once. It was a smaller pack versus a bigger pack, so now it's kind of two even-sized packs here. Jose Medina coming down pit road. So far, David Owens leads the field by about leads the field. That second pack about 3.4 seconds back. The tail end of Michael Sara, so they're trying to close that gap in. You'll see there, Colin in 8th, the gap 3.6 seconds to the tail end of Michael Sara. So he's going to try and catch that gap to Michael Sara. Now it's actually extending out to about 4 seconds now, so. So that gap for the second pack is starting to extend back out now as the lead pack picks up a little bit of pace, but now they're starting to close back in. About 3.7 seconds is the gap. So it's going to kind of be that gain here, loose there. It's kind of be a kind of game and tag, catch for the second pack will probably lose some eventually, and then the front pack will gain some back. And let's just see who will be able to lose the least amount of time. That's the question. Here's the lead of that second pack, led by Kyle Lanot. 4 seconds from the tail end of that lead pack, but Zach Clausen and he got another lap machine tag on the lead pack. So now you have a 9-car lead pack with 2 lap machines in there. Zach Clausen and David Brenner also lost a lap in there as well. So David Brenner lapped down. Michael Benton was the one that tagged along. So we have 3 lap machines in that lead pack. So we have a 10-car pack out in front. With 3 lap machines fighting for the lucky dogs. Fighting for being passed in that as well. So the driver's not going to be fighting for nothing. They're going to have to fight for something. They're kind of staying in line for now. No one's really making any moves just yet, but we'll see how aggressive they get. Single file through the lead pack, and these drivers have to make 2 more green flag stops before here in the end of the race. So we have a little bit left to go. So we have 2 green flag pit stops that can split the field up a little bit more. in the rest of this one. And also, we could have a caution that throws a wrench into every plan. If you have a caution with about 30 laps to go, it could be very tight on fuel there. Drivers make it to that second pack, losing even more time now. The gap is about 4.8 seconds between the lead pack and the second pack. So lead pack not the second pack struggling to get moving and get some momentum forward, going forward. So they're trying to make some ground back up, but they're actually going to have a little bit of help from Michael Benson here. They're able to tag along on the draft, and they're going to have to go around the long way around Michael Benson. Is Michael Benson going to try and just stick along with his draft as best as he can? Well, that's just hurting the second back there, but lead pack still single file, nothing really happening right now. But David Owens still leads the field. Jason Landry in second. Jason Landry leads the Pro Points Championship, and he's looking strong as David Owens not having a good day. But Jason Landry, all he's got to do is have a solid finish today, and he will be your Pro Champion at the end of this one. But he's got 60 laps to go this time by before he get that championship. Sam Owens looking strong right now. The best AM driver of the field so far, still Paul Ferniani, qualified it on the pole, and he's been up front pretty much all day long so far. 60 laps here, 60 laps to go here now. Still have two pit stops remaining for these drivers out for these drivers. The 7 lead lap cars in this lead pack, and a few stragglers lap cars. David Brenner, Zach Clausen, and also a couple others that just tagged along as well. This lead pack picking them up, putting them down, just trying to make some laps off here. Everyone just settled in, taking it nice and easy. No one getting aggressive to try to make that outside lane working. David Owens was one of those drivers to get the outside lane working, but now he's leading, so now he does have to. So now no one else is trying to get that outside lane working. So David Owens now has got the lead for the mid cycles, and now he's just kind of staying there out in front. No one has been able to make any ground on the outside lane. Jack Duvall now cycles out with Kyle Lanant. So that second back to try and make something happen. They change to Gerald Rose now, pushing Jack Duvall. They are now 5.8 seconds off the tail end of the lead pack. So second back not looking strong to even get moving now. Closing in to the halfway point of this race here from Daytona. Season finale coming to a close here. Championships are pretty much wrapped up unless something catastrophic happens. So Jason Landry and David Lee would have to pretty much win the race. Same with Ricky Mandela. In the AM standings, he would pretty much have to have something catastrophic happen in his competitor to win the race. But Ricky Mandela, he is out of lead pack and not having a great race. He's in 16th, but his competitor Jose Medina, second in the AM point standings, is even having even a worse race. Jose Medina 3 laps down, sitting in 27th. So really no stress for Ricky Mandela. Actually, they're right next to each other here. Ricky Mandela is just out in front of Jose Medina. They're in a smaller pack. They're in a smaller pack for 15th on back. They're actually the third pack of the racetrack right here between these drivers. Ricky Mandela looking strong. He doesn't have to worry about beating him there. Jose Medina gonna need a lot of help today if he wants to get back into this race. He's three laps down. Depending on the initial start, and to start that one, end up losing 2 laps to that, and now also another lap damage. Just unfortunate. that just hope for some luck and get back on track. Everyone's still staying nice and calm, and fuel's gonna be around 28 laps, so we'll start to see pit stops around probably about lap 54 to 56. You can see him go a little bit longer to try and go lap 60. You'll probably see pit stops in about 10-15 laps or so. We'll see if they spread out even more or they kind of stay around the same pack size. So teammates could try to work together and trying to undercut the rest of the field. These drivers still have to make 2 more pit stops. They're within that window, so that window can open. They can go. I think the max you can go on fuel here today is probably about 32 laps. That's with saving, so a safe bet is probably around 30 laps. So we're within 60 to go. So I mean, it's a pretty safe bet to kind of fit now. If you got a smaller pack, you can work with 4 or 5 cars, maybe even 3 or 4 or 5 cars. They can work together pretty well. They can jump the field. If they can get drafted pretty well, start running click off faster lap times. They could get that get out in front of the field, and they can fit down and still have to make the same amount of pit stops in the rest of the field. So we'll see how much longer they go. The final pit stop window will open up with about 28 to 30 laps to go. That's gonna be the best they can do on fuel. So they're only about 10 laps short of being able to making that. That kind of adds up. In order to make it a 2-stop, you'd have to go 34 laps, and no one did it after lap 30, so no one could make it that far unless you're really heavily saving, and that would have been a lot to ask for. To do that 3 times, you wouldn't have enough of a pack to really been doing save all that fuel 3 times and 3 different runs. These drivers pretty much had the result to a 3-stop race. Saw everyone pit on lap number 28, and the rest of them came down on lap number 29. So we'll see if that happens again. But it's still David Owens getting that time out in the lead. Looking strong from David Owens. Out in front this time by a complete half of this race, complete lap 50. Be halfway through here at Daytona for the season finale of the Bonfire Racing League. Premier Cup Series coming to a close after today. This time by David Owens still leads the field all by himself, single file, 50 down, 50 to go here from the virtual world center of racing. They just crossed the halfway mark of this one. Drivers still kind of just settled in, no one really making any moves just yet. This is kind of bringing a fuel question. How much longer will they go on fuel? Probably about 10 laps is the max they can go. Won't really be able to see them go any longer than that. They've been going about 28 laps. They went 28 laps in the first run. So that means they'll pit within about 6 more laps. But also, does any teammates maybe try to get together here, try to get going? There's David Owens out in front here. He's got his teammates Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Nick Mills, work with Paul Fernandez. So they got pretty much all three of them lined up in a line. Four of them lined up in a line here, so that's looking very strong. Actually, all five of them are lined up in a line. I didn't even realize that. So Fiction Racing very dominant so far. Actually got the all top five lined up. They all five of those can pull off at the same time and try to get undercut the field, and they are looking very strong here in this one so far. The only driver from both of them racing only has Jake O'Shea in this lead pack. Can't really do much in this lead pack there. I should only have them in the lead pack. They're back in the second pack. No other team really dominant in this race so far, other than Ignition Point Racing. Gerald Rose in that leading that second in that second pack. Shots the wall. Kyle Lynott, so Pony Up Motorsports kind of in that second pack, and they've actually really closed that gap down back again. So that second pack trying to close in, and they close in right at the last possible moment, like they did that last run. Maybe try and close the gap. And the gap's about 3 seconds into the gap. The last few laps here between those drivers. There's the gap, about 3.4 seconds. The second pack has been about 2/10 faster per lap, so they're closing that gap back in, but now they lost a little bit of time here. Put the lap car another lap down there. The gap's about 3.3 seconds. They lost 3/10 that time by, but second pack making something happen again. So I don't think they'll be able to close it out. Close it back in like they were able last time at the last possible moment. We'll see if they can close in a little bit of pit stops. Maybe a few of those can bridge that gap over. Making a really good pit stop. They can make that time back up on pit road. We saw that happen. David Owens had a really strong pit stop. Nick Mills pulls off the apron. Thought maybe they would pull in there, but they stay out. Lap 56 is looking like it is about the time to pit. Top 5, all the same team of Ignition Point Racing. Will they all pit this time by all together? Maybe could they undercut the rest of the field with the same strategy call? We'll find out, but this is their penultimate pit stop of this race. As pit stops within the next 5 laps coming up here. Off the turn before, who dives off? Does anyone dive off? Nick Mills, pretty much the entire front pack will peel off onto pit road, except for the few lap cars that stay on the racetrack. And second pack will do the second pack will do the same. They're coming with a lot of speed there. They really closed that gap up on pit road. That was the gap. Look how aggressive they were on pit road. They actually closed the gap in all on pit road entry. So that's just the aggressive pit road entry of the second pack. No one makes it in. No one makes any penalties. No one makes any mistakes there. But just the aggressive entry of the second pack allowed them to close the gap up on pit road, the lead pack. We'll see if anyone can have a similar pit stop here. But everyone, first pack, second pack, all in pit road. The Ignition Point Racing team, they all come out quickly. They all easily first out of pit road. They're top 4, separated the rest of the field right now. But top 7 lead pack. Did anyone tag along. Did anyone jump that gap? Joseph Volpus jumped that gap. David Brenner was a lap machine there. Kyle Lynott, Jax Duvall, did they have enough to jump the gap there, bridge that gap? Brandon Shelton maybe as well. Did they have enough to bridge that gap? I think they did, just off pit entry alone. What a pit stop for that second pack. They were able to pull away. Or Modric moving along. Actually, they're 2 seconds ahead. That first pack, the 3 of the Initiative Point Racing cars, Jason Landry, Nick Mills, and Jared Kelly, and Richard Modric. Modric's not even on that team, but he was able to tag along with them. Really good pit stop. They're actually 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. So we have a 4-car lead lap pack. 4 lead lap cars in this lead pack. They're 2.5 seconds. They're actually gaining on the rest of the field as they're trying to get around Michael Sara. But wow, really good pit stop for those top 4. And they have jumped the rest of the field off that second pit stop, working well together. We'll see how well they can hold it. They have 4 cars. That's all you really need. They just keep it nice and calm, smooth, collected. Not get too aggressive, not get bad pushing, and not also get checking up a lot. They could hold this gap away, but we'll see how that second pack, much bigger pack, if they can get single filed out and settled, they may be able to pull away. Gap settled around 2.9 seconds, so that's about the same gap that second pack had. Brandon Shelton, Jake Ashe, Zach Engel, Gerald Rose, they were not able to make the jump. They have a few lap cars in there. David Medina in there as well. The 131 also in there. Eric Gambrill also in that second pack there, but about half that second pack really closed it in well from that off that pit entry. They really closed that gap in compared to the lead pack, and they have closed the gap big time. And they got in with some of the drivers in the lead pack. They kind of met in the middle. It seems like some drivers did not have a good stop from the lead pack, and some drivers had a really good stop from the second pack. They kind of met in the middle. So we can now have a second pack. So we have 3 packs trying to catch each other here. The second pack is about 5 seconds back from this. The third pack about 5 seconds back from the second pack, led by Brandon Shelton of this third pack here, but 5.2 seconds, and they're losing time to Paul Ferdiani and the rest of the second pack here. The lead pack, the 4 drivers, Landry, Mills, Kelly, and Modric. They're losing time now. The 2.3 seconds is the gap back to David Owens. They're closing it back in, but Joseph Volpus was able to make that jump. Same with Kyle Lynott, Jax Duvall. They were able to make a big jump there. Down to 1.7, they're closing that gap. They're going to get right there to it. They're going to get right in that draft. .6 seconds. They're just close enough. They give it about a second. There will be there to that lead pack, and they're going to do it. Just the 4 cars working a little bit better. So just overpower the 4 cars out in front. But if this happens again, if they pit with like 10 to go and they can hold off just 10 laps, that's all they need. It can work out for them. that second pack has caught back up, and they're going to go around the outside. David Owens wants to get up to the lead like he was in that second run there. Nick Mills going to throw the block. That's going to almost into disaster, but the second pack has caught back up, and now they're going to try and cycle the race lead. We have some racing now up in front. Two lanes now. They're dead even, but now Owens is clear. Wampus with a good shove. Can they clear down in front of Landry? They do. They'll stay up top for now. They have David Brenner, a lap machine, right behind him. As Brenner trying to get one of his laps back here, but the outside lane fully pushing strongly around that outside lane. They all might be able to clear down into the turn number 3. Sar won't be able to clear, but Duvall and the rest will, and they will come down the racetrack. They'll navigate down in front of Jason Landry, and now David Owens back to the race lead here from Daytona. He's been dominant from that second run. He led that entire second run there, as no one really to take that opportunity to get out in front of him, as they all just going to save fuel behind him. But now that's going to be the question. Did they try to save fuel a little bit behind him to maybe try to shorten that pit stop just a little bit? It could work out. It could cycle them out to the front in that final pit stop that could matter everything. Navigate it back up to the top of the racetrack now. They'll navigate back down to the bottom as Jax Duvall hops down to the bottom, trying to get an extra spot there. Just leapfrog Jared Kelly there, but they'll stay up. They'll navigate back down to the bottom, but act as a single file through the rest of the field, as they still have to make one more pit stop left in this race. Laps winding down for these drivers. They're just trying to get it back cleanly. They've been green so far all race long. We have yet to see a caution. David Owens leads the field still. He's looking strong out in front. See how long will it take for the aggression to ramp up. They've been out on the racetrack for about 10 laps now. They've been lap 16.6. One green flag stop remaining. Probably see them pit around. Could probably see them split that last run in about 20 laps. So we'll probably see them about pit around either 22 laps. That's kind of about even. It's either go a little bit longer. It's about 15 laps. So we'll see how much longer the drivers will wait. If they go down to about 15 to go. But everyone's single file for now, still here from Daytona. We're closing in on the final 30 laps of this race. The final third of this race. The final 33 laps of the season. The Bonfire Premier Cup Series. How much longer will these drivers wait in a single file line? They're going to wait to that pit stop and then start making aggression? Or will they try and get aggressive a little bit early? I think they want to try and get aggressive a little bit earlier so they can try to kind of catch that race lead. Get up to the race lead, get a good pit stop. And get good drivers before pit road. Down the back straightaway, looking strong. Still for David Owens. No one challenging him out in front just yet. time by will reach 30 laps to go here from the virtual World Center of Racing, as the final 30 laps of the Bonfire Premier Cup Series season about to commence here from Daytona. Single file train for now. How much longer will they go? Will they split this final stint into half for that pit stop, or will they go a little bit longer? But 30 laps to go while they're single file. We're gonna take this one final. Then we're gonna crank it up on the Bonfire Premier Cup Series season. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment. 25 laps to go here from Daytona. The final 5% of this race, final quarter of this race here for the Retro World Center Racing. How much longer do these drivers stay out on the racetrack? They can go to probably about 15 to go. Maybe even 13 is probably the longest they can go. Will they pit any earlier? Will they pit with about 20 to go? Do we see some of these teammates trying to work together, trying to undercut the rest of the field here late? I have to find out. It will be 23 laps to go. Everyone's staying single file for now. No one making any moves just yet. Still just kind of taking their time. But that last pit stop worked very well from Joseph Walpus, Kyle Lynott. Very well for those drivers. They jumped the pack over. They jumped from the second pack to the lead pack. They're able to do that. Jackson Ball, same for Jackson Ball. Really good pit stop. We'll see if they can do that again. They try and jump out in front of the field. Get back our 4 or 5 cars. They can probably jump the rest of the field. They can probably stay away if they work together well in those final few laps. Question is how aggressive they get to try and race themselves for the race win. Does that cost them? See if we find out, or will we have all the same pack of 10 drivers battle it out for the lead? Only 10 lead lap drivers in this lead pack for now. 22 laps to go, about halfway between where they last stopped, and when into the finish. So they still have to make one pit stop. They've been 22 laps out on the racetrack. Do they go to about 30 like they 28 laps like they have been doing? So they go about 6 more laps here. About 15, 16 to go. That's probably that much longer to go, but will they pit any earlier? Will they try to split that in half? Or will they stay out to about 15 to go and just pit the last possible one that they can? David Owens still leads the field. He's been one of the drivers to be the first people to make that outside lane work. He's been one that have been trying to get it outside lane work, but now he's leading, and now no one else has been trying it. So I mean, he's been very strong so far. See, does it work out for David Owens? I mean, he's been strong on the outside. He's been leading the bottom. See if David Owens can get this win, or can we finally get our first AM winner of the season? All pro drivers have taken the race win. The AM driver will win the race today. 20 laps to go here from Daytona. 50 miles left in this season. And it's going to come down to this final pit stop, the money stop of this race. Coming up within the next 5 laps for sure. How much longer will they go? Will anyone try to play any strategy? Will they try to take less fuel maybe? We will get down on and off pit road the best. One final time. We've been green all race long so far. Can they make it 20 more laps? Now 19 without any incidents. They have a smaller pack of lappers they're about to catch. Drivers out pit road, that second pack, a few of those second pack drivers coming out pit road, Braden Shelton, Zach Engel. The entire second pack all coming out pit road there. Well, this lead pack, how much longer will they go? Everyone stays out on the racetrack for now. 18 to go, so they can go probably about David only can go 28 laps. They can go about 2-3 more laps. Probably all they can go. They can probably stretch it to about 4. They've been saving pretty well in the tail end of this pack. Will that be worth it to stay out that long? Well, David Owens blinking out a little bit there. Disappeared. Tried to show you Kyle or not. There's Walters leads the field, but David Owens still blinked out. That could be very unlucky if David Owens is blinked out with 18 laps to go and from the race lead. He is not back yet. And there's the tail end of that pack. Jason Landry, Nick Mills, Jared Kelly, Paul Ferniani, 4 of those teammates down pit road together. Richard Madras down pit road as well, the 00. Joseph Alpus, Kyle Lynott, and David Brenner all out together. But what's unfortunate there, David Owens, he is out on the racetrack, but he blinked out and he spawns back in where he blinked out at. So David Owens losing the lead pack. Internet issues. Really unfortunate for David Owens. He's going to come down pit road. No help at all from the race lead. Really unfortunate there for David Owens. But now a smaller pack. They'll have to come down pit road. We'll have to hope they were working well together. They have to hope they're working well enough together to not lose lead pack. Jax Duvall a little bit trying to tag along there at the very back. But where does Jason Landry? Where does the rest of those drivers cycle out? Jared Kelly, Nick Mills, Jason Landry. Jason Landry out in front of him. It's a really good pit stop. Michael Sara, Joseph Alpus, Jax Duvall. They're coming off pit road right now. There's David Brenner. David Brenner's a lap down. There's Joseph Alpus on the apron trying to get rolling. Jason Landry, Nick Mills, Jared Kelly, Paul Ferniani, the Mission Point Racing teammates, all pitted together. They're a little bit separated here. And the rest of the lead pack coming off pit road. Jax Duvall, Joseph Alpus, a race leader. The rest of those are lap machines, lap cars. They're going to be in the middle of this. Jake O'Shea in there as well. And they're going to be lap cars in the way that can help Joseph Alpus. Joseph Alpus is all by himself. He is 2 seconds ahead of second of Jax Duvall. He's got the help of lap machines. He's got 15 laps to go this time by. Does he have enough to catch up? Kyle Lynott's right there. Here's the rest of the pack that's pretty much the Mission Point Racing. No one else is tagged along. Michael Sarr, Richard Madras, Zach Engel, they've all lost the pack. Brandon Shelton, Zach Engel, they were in that second pack already. They're actually going to catch Richard Modric and Michael Sara. But they are 5 seconds back on the lead pack. It looks like we only have 7 cars that could possibly be in this lead pack. It's going to be Joseph Alpus, though, by himself with some lap machines. David Brenner, Jake O'Shea, and that's Eric Gambrel. He's got 4 lap cars to help him. He's got 1.8 seconds back to Nick Mills, Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Paul Ferniani, Jax Duvall, and Kyle Lynott. The only AM driver, the only AM hope to win this race is Paul Ferniani. He's going to try and get this race win. He's got his teammates out in front of him. But he's going to cycle. He's going to get shuffled out by Jax Duvall there. Have to try and hope he can tag along here. They also get a lap machine in that pack as well. But they're going to cycle up to the outside. His teammates are going to hop up to the outside lane to try and pull him along. That can help him, but there's Joseph Alpus. That gap's down to 1.7 seconds. You can see they're within that draft range just about. 1.5 seconds. They're within that drafting range now. They have the draft in the pack ahead. Does he have enough to hold on with this lap? The lap cars, they have 1.4 seconds. You just kind of maintain that gap for the next 14 laps. It's going to be hard to, though. I don't think he can hold that off. They're just not strong enough. Those lap cars are not strong enough pushing. They're down to 1 second. They're within that draft of the lead pack now. All they got to do is just catch up. The teammates all together here. Nick Mills, Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, and Paul Ferniani. All together, ready to go and try to jump to this outside and try to jump to the race lead. Will it work out for Nick Mills? and Jerry Kelly. Here they go. They catch the lead pack. They're going to hop to the outside lane here with 13 laps to go. This could be the move for the win for these drivers. Eric Gamble tries to hop up, but Eric Gamble 2 laps down. He's just trying to get his lap back the hard way, but Joseph Volpis leads the field. Nick Mills and the rest of the lead pack try to work that outside lane and shove these lap cars out. Kyle Lenott stays to the bottom, try to jump out in front of him, and that's going to work out. Kyle Lenott moves up to second. He's going to get under Jake Gachet, but we have a caution! Caution out of the racetrack. Our first caution of the day on with 12 laps to go. Try to figure out who that was. Not seeing who that was. Not seeing who that was there. No one really lost any spots on the ATO. Trying to look who that was. Chris Smith looking a little slow. He's on the apron here. And it was Brandon Shelton, Eric Smith making contact. Brandon Shelton spinning back up the racetrack from the second pack. The second pack just trying to get moving and trying to catch up. They end up going around it. Brandon Shelton, he's got damage. He can come down and take his fast repair. Actually, these drivers have no fast repair in the Bonfire Racing. Sorry, messed that up with the Leon Speed Cup Series. We broadcast on Thursdays, but he's got a little bit of damage. He can probably come down and try to fix that. But our first caution with 12 laps to go. And that's going to shake up everything. Now that's going to give a lot of these drivers get back up to the lead pack. But there's only 11 cars on the lead lap. David Brenner, Jake Gachet, Jake Johnson, Kevin Kyle. So inside the top 15, they're all a lap down. They can get their lap back, but the lap is going to go to David Brenner. So David Brenner will be able to get his lap back. And don't expect all these. I don't expect all the lead lap drivers to pit here because they already got the track position. They're already good on fuel. They just pitted. So really, we're only going to have 11 cars on the lead lap here. Maybe 12. I think Brandon Shelton is going to lose a lap trying to fix his damage here, and he will. So they're only going to have 11 cars on the lead lap with 10 laps to go. Joseph Volpis, the race leader. He had some buffer of lap cars. Now he's not going to have that buffer anymore. But now we're going to restart with under 10 to go. We're going to see some action now. The aggression level is definitely going to be ramped up here. Drivers are going to be getting ready to go back racing. Pretty much a sprint to the finish. That'll allow David Brenner to get back on the lead lap. Michael Sarr is gonna be able. Richard Modger is gonna get back up to the lead pack. So we have some more AM drivers that could get this win. So the AM drivers looking to just try and get an AM driver to win a race. It's all been pro drivers to win a race this season. See if that can happen today. We'll restart with 8 laps to go. Valpis will elect to take the outside lane. Kyle Lynott will be on the bottom. Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, Paul Ferniani, the next three in line. Those three are teammates out of Ignition Point Racing. Jason Landry just needs to keep it clean. David Medina is one lap down. In order for Landry to lose the championship, he would pretty much have to finish outside the top 10, and David Medina would have to win the race. But David Medina is going to have to get his lap back, and Landry is going to have to wreck out if Medina wants to get that. Ricky Mandela, he is also one lap down, but his main competitor, Jose Medina, is sitting 3 laps down in 24th. That was his next closest competitor. David Buell, not here tonight, was right behind it, was third in points. And Thomas Fox is having just kind of similar race to Medina, not having a great race today. So it's really going to come down to the Pro Championship between Landry and Dan Medina. Medina gets his lap back. Dan Medina Sr. gets his lap back, and Landry has a bad race. It could change it up, but I think pretty much the championship are locked up. It's going to come down who can win the season finale here from Daytona. We'll have 8 laps to go when we restart. Our first caution of the day. Do we see more? Does cautions breed cautions here? Do we see a big one? Do we see chaos unfold? Pace car is off into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Valpis on the loud pedal. Not clear of Lynott initially on the start. Landry is clear. He'll slot in line with his teammates. Valpis will slot in line on the bottom. So now the outside lane kind of already on the back burner. And now Modri's going to go around on the front straightaway. He's going to spin up the racetrack. He's going to spin back up the racetrack. It's going to bring out the caution. So we already have an instant caution already once we go back green. Nick Mills sent it 3 wide, met in the middle. It looked like there with Michael Sara. He didn't hold his brakes until he got back on the racetrack. And a quick yellow already, and that brings out the caution. As Kyle Lynott holds the lead from that. Joseph Valpis holds the lead. The timing scoring being screwed up a little bit here. But now with 7 laps to go, but now we're going to restart with under 5 to go, and we're going to have an even more kind of intense battle to the finish. Joseph Valpis, our race leader. Kyle Lynott is second. Jared Kelly is third. But that's going to give another driver to get back on lead lap. It looks like it will be Jake O'Shea will get back on lead lap. He'll get the free pass. See who gets it here. Jax Duvall is going to tail in the lead lap now. After that, as he'll get the spots back. He'll get up to 5th. Just a little messed up scoring. But Jake O'Shea will be the free pass here. Able to get his lucky dog and get back on lead lap. He's got a little bit of right front damage. Actually, no, it goes to Zach Clausen. But also, that was messed up there as well. So Zach Clausen, actually 2 laps down, will get his lap back. So all the lead lap, 1 lap down cars maybe getting involved there, or getting tagging each other on the bump, maybe on the restart. So now Zach Clausen has another opportunity if he can get a lap back again. So no other driver will get back on lead laps. We only have an extra 11 drivers on lead lap there, as another driver falls a lap down. So Zach Clausen will get back to 1 lap down. So he'll get the free pass, but he's going to need a lot of help. take the one to go signal this time by, I believe. So you start with 4 laps to go. Drivers looking to win the final race of the season. Right, with green all the way to 12 laps to go. We quickly have a caution right on the restart. See if they can make it to the white flag. They gotta go 3 laps to get back to the white flag. So it'll be Vulpes and Lynott on the front row again. It's pretty much an identical restart of what we just saw. Question is, will Vulpes or Lynott be able to stay on the front row? The bottom has been very dominant. See how well can the outside get working? Can the outside work well? Vulpes, our leader, he elects to choose the outside lane again. He's got Jason Landry right behind him. Landry looking to become the pro points champion, pro champion. All he has to do is just finish this one, and he's got it. This is Nate better than David. He's 1 lap down, sinking 15. He's gonna have to hope for another caution and get the lap back. So there's 5 drivers competing for the lucky dog here. If you do happen to get another caution, the base car on to pit road. 4 laps to go. Green flag back in the air here from Daytona. Vulpes with a good launch once again on the outside lane. We'll see if he can clear in front of Lynott. He will. So now Vulpes clear in front of Lynott. Landry not clear of his teammate of Ferdiani on the bottom. Ferdiani has a good shove from Jackson Ball on the inside lane. Landry's gonna have to hope to get a good push from Zach Engel on the outside lane. Jackson Ball though shoving Paul Ferdiani. Does he hop up on the outside lane in front of his teammate? Not yet. Ferdiani, one of the AM drivers, looking to get the first AM win of the season out of the entire field. Down the back straightaway. Single file on the bottom, pretty much all the way back. You have to go all the way back to Michael Sara to try for someone to be on the outside lane. Up front, though, it's Vulpes, led by Lynott, led by Kelly, led by Ferdiani, and Jackson Ball rounding at the top 5. Ferdiani thinks about hopping out. 3 laps to go here from Daytona. The final race of the season. Get a car around the back there. It's going to go around. It's going to have a big one happen behind. The caution comes out. Ashe involved. Brandon Shelton involved. Kevin Kyle involved there as well. And Jake Ashe, one of the drivers, 1 lap down. David Ian with a penalty. He won't be able to get his lap back as well either. Zach Clausen just got back from 2 down. I think he might be damaged here. Can't really get a good look at the right side of the car, and he is. Wonder who will get that lap there. David Ian, he will get it clear, but I don't know if that will give him the lucky dog still. It was Jake Johnson that ran around. Let's take a look at what happened there. Jake Johnson, a big check up out of line. Jake Johnson went around. Everyone getting involved there. I believe every lap down car that was 1 lap down got involved there. Let's take a look. So we know Jake Johnson already got wrecked. David Medina, I think, had to go down pit road. So we got a black flag, and that won't count. Yeah, so we already got an incident. Zach Clausen got a piece of that. Zach Clausen. Jake Ashe was in that. Kevin Kyle was in that. And Jake Johnson was in that. So that means Edward Peltz, if he was clean of that, and he was not, Brandon Shelton was in that as well. Thomas Fox was in that. Eric Gamber was in that. And Jose Medina got a tag of that as well. So Chris Smith, 5 laps down. The only lap down driver that was not in that. So every lap down driver lap machine was involved in that incident. It started with Jake Johnson and Jose Medina, so Chris Smith will get his lap back. So he'll go to 4 laps down, so that really won't make much of a difference. So all those lead lap car, 1 lap down cars are hoping to get a caution to get back. They will not be able to get their lap back, all being involved in that incident. Joseph Alpes still holds the lead. Pretty much be identical once again. Jason Landry falling back to 8th after that. And now we're going to go into overtime. So these drivers have 3 attempts to make it back to the white flag. So have 3 green, white, checkered attempts. So 11 cars on the lead lap to battle this out. Get another caution and 1 driver get their lap back. Right now it would be Jake O'Shea leading that. Joseph Alpes leads, Kyle Lynott in 2nd, Jared Kelly in 3rd. Into overtime once again. So we've had the first caution with 12 laps to go, and it's been, since then it has been caution after caution. We've only really able to go 1 lap green there. See if Alpes can hold out in front one more time once again. He's been easily able to clear in front of like Lynott on these restarts. See if it works out for him again. He'll take the 1 to go signal. He'll elect to take the high lean once again. And Kyle Lynott will be 2nd. On the bottom, Jerry Kelly, Paul Ferdiani, Jack Stewall will round out the top 5. Our first attempt at a green-white checkered. This time we'll take our first attempt at a green-white checkered here. See who will be able to win the season finale here from Daytona. The first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. First attempt at overtime. Who will be able to take the win? Two laps. Can they make it back to the white? We're able to make it 1 lap last time by. We'll see if they can do it again. They have 3 attempts. The final time for these drivers. See who wins. The Cavok 250 here from Daytona. Green flag back in the air. The first attempt at overtime. A good launch for Alpes once again. But the outside is a much better launch. Ferdiani alongside Kyle Lynott. but they're not worked out very well. David Brenner slots back in line. Kyle Lynott with a big shove from Jared Kelly and Jax Duvall. Kyle Lynott, he's going to run. He's going to stay behind Joseph Alpes for now. Berniani, no help on the top lane for now. No one out there to help him. Brandon Shelton, here comes Brandon Shelton. Brandon Shelton's one lap down. Gonna hope for a caution if he wants to try and get there. The top 4, top 5, top 6 are clear now. Alpes leads the field into turn number 3 and 4. For the penultimate time, can they make it back to the white flag? The outside lane, nowhere to be found. Off of turn number 4, 1 lap to go here from Daytona. Joseph Alpes leads the field. Lynott in second, Kelly in third, Duvall in fourth, and fifth is David Brenner. David Brenner was a lap down early in this race. Can he come back and win it? He's going to hop up to the outside with Jax Duvall. Jax Duvall getting shoved by David Brenner. Down into turn number 1 and 2 for the final time. Alpes going to block the bottom. He's going to have to block both lanes now. He's going to stand at the bottom. He's going to stick with Kyle Lynott. Brandon Shelton will pull off the apron there and get out of the way. But Jax Duvall with the run on the eye lane. Going to try and side draft the back. But Lynott shoving Joseph Alpes into turn number 3. Does he have enough to clear out in turn number 3? He does. Does he make the move off turn number 4? It's single file of the top 3. Now it's going to be the top 4. Starter to the outside for one last opportunity. Coming to the line for the final time of a turn number 4 to the tribal. Lynott's going to just push Alpes to the line. Contact a little bit. Alpes is going to go sideways, but he's going to hold on to it. Joseph Alpes will win at Daytona. Joseph Alpes will win the season finale at Daytona for the Bonfire Racing League Premier Cup Series. He beats Kyle Lynott by 64 thousandths of a second. Best AM driver, Michael Sauer, will finish P4. As he was the last hope for the AM drivers to win the race there, coming to the line. Jason Landry will be the champion. Ricky Mandela ended up being out of this one. Ricky Mandela in pit road. He did lose spots to Jose Medina, but only 4, and that will be enough to lock up the AM champion. So Ricky Mandela will be our AM champion. But out in front tonight, it was Joseph Alpes. He's going to burn it down on the front straightaway here. As Joseph Alpes wins the race. So Joseph Alpes burns it down. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our post-race interviews here from Daytona.
Cavok 250, brought to you by Chris Morrill. Thank you for your support in Season 13.
Season 13 of Bonfire Premier Cup Racing is proudly brought to you by Animal House Customs. Also a sponsor for Season 13, KK Woodscapes, bringing your virtual victories into reality. And finally, but not least, the Swanley Golf Association. This sponsorship is brought to you by Matt Schofield and the number 61.
Welcome back here to Daytona. So we just wrapped up the Cavok 250 here from Daytona, and Joseph Valpis was able to take the race win. Before we get to our interviews, let's take a quick look at our results for today's Cavok 250. Joseph Valpis by 64 thousandths of a second able to win over Kyle Lynott, and Jared Kelly picks up P number 3. Michael Sarr will pick up 4th. Zach Engel will round out the top 5. Jack Duval in 6th. David Brenner in 7th. Richard Modris in 8th. Paul Perdiani in 9th. Nick Mills rounds at the top 10. Finishing 11th today was the 56 of Jason Landry, our pro champion for the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. He'll finish 11th. We'll talk to him in just a minute. Jake Johnson, he'll finish 12th tonight. Jake O'Shea, 13th. Kevin Kyle in 14th. David Medina Sr. in 15th. Edward Pelton, 16th. Thomas Fox in 17th. Eric Gambrell in 18th. Brandon Shelton in 19th. Jose Medina in 20th. Finishing 21st tonight is the 37th of Chris Smith, Zach Clausen in 22nd, and our AM champion of the Bonfire Premier Cup Series is the 3 of Ricky Mandela. He'll finish 23rd tonight. We'll also talk to him in just a moment. Todd Dunn will finish 24th, and Michael Benson rounds at the top 25. David Owens finishing 26th, Gerald Owens 27th, Jay-Z Bennett finishing 28th tonight, Brandon Finley 29th, and Sam Milliken rounding at the top 30. And that was our 30-car field for today. Before we get to interviews, let's take a quick look. Let's take a word from our sponsor, Mills Insurance Agency, for the interview.
Interview portion of our programming is brought to you by Mills Insurance Agency, millsinski.com, where you can find all your insurance needs in the state of Kentucky. Thank you once again to Nick Mills for his continued support in Season 13.
And first, we'll bring in our race winner of Joseph Valpis, able to hold off everyone in that final green-white checkered. How does it feel to get that race win?
Oh man, that was a pretty crazy race. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't know how that worked out in our favor, especially me and Kyle. We ended up 1-2 at the end of the race. All the stuff that we went through, especially at the beginning. There was a lot of craziness. I saw a car fly over top of us. We had to catch everybody once, and then we lost them on the first pit stop, and then we had to catch everybody a second time. And the next thing you know, we're second and third behind Owens, and he had his issues, unfortunately, with his computer there. Yeah, we ended up 1-2 for the last few restarts, and just great teamwork with the Gulf Coast boys as usual. Kyle and I did a great job working together there on those last couple restarts, make sure one of us came home with the win, and I really don't know what to say. I was pretty shocked that we had a chance to win there at the end with everything we went through.
Yeah, but you're able to hold off everyone there on that final green-white checkered, and just kind of what was going through your head there at that final little bit of run. What was your plan? You were going to try and hop up to the outside at one point if that run ever kind of formed up there, or you're just going to kind of block the bottom and just hope it worked out?
So I know on the last lap, I kind of started wavering off the bottom a little bit, especially in 1 and 2, because I saw Duval, and I don't know who was pushing him, and they were coming really hard on the outside, and I kind of started thinking about maybe trying to control both lanes a little bit, make sure nobody got too big of a run, and Kyle then got a huge run off too, and better to stick with the teammate on the bottom. The teammate on the Sunday series and the teammate in another series. Duval teammate with me on another league. So, at least some friendly people up front there with me at the end. I knew we would race it clean out to the end between us, and I made the right choice of who to stay in front of pretty much.
Yeah, and you were able to haul them off and able to take the win. But before we send off away, any sponsors I think for today's race win?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody that for you guys for putting on the broadcast, for doing it live. That's really incredible that we have a live broadcast. I want to thank all the Bonfire admins. Kevin Kyle for everything he did this season. David Buell for taking over in the wake of losing Dennis, of course. Big shout out to him and everything he's done as well. And it's I want to shout out then, of course, to my Gulf Coast teammates for winning the team championship. Let's go. David Brenner, David Owens, and Kyle Lanat. Great job, guys. Pulled it off there at the end over Fokum. So let's go.
And once again, congrats on your race win. And once again, congrats on topping the season off here at Daytona with a win.
Thank you.
So Joseph Alvis, our race winner, will bring in our second place finisher of Kyle Lanat, as Kyle Lanat just coming up a little bit short there with Joseph Alvis right in front of you. What do you think could have done differently there in that final bit to maybe top off that, take the race win?
Well, honestly, I wasn't going to make any bold moves. Joe's Gulf Coast Racing teammate, so being able to finish 1-2 and put a lockdown on the team championship was more of a goal than trying to finish first. And I figured starting 23rd and finishing second, that's not bad for a super speedway and keeping it clean all day.
Yeah, I gotta talk you through that team championship as well. There's definitely another side championship as you joined a little bit later in the season, but you didn't have a chance since that for the pro championship. But you were able to have a really strong run through every race you made. You had a very strong run running, dicing it up in the top 10, top 5, week in and week out, and you're able to get that team championship there. So just kind of talk us through your season. Just do you think it was very successful on your part?
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad season. I mean, last season I ended up finishing 4th just because the last race of the season, the championship race, is a track that I was terrible at Homestead, and I just have never gotten along. But this season, being able to start strong and just kind of stay up front, in points pretty much all season long. I think I finished 5th, where I think, Gulf Coast Racing teammate and owner, David Owens, finished 3rd, and then we had Jared Kelly between us. So not bad, not disappointed with a top 5 in the championship points, and then capping it off with that team championship win just kind of shows the camaraderie that we have and how well, Bulpus, myself, Brenner, Owens, we all work together, especially at super speedways. I know that you guys had some pretty good television watching up there when the 4 of us came up through the field and ended up taking the lead with Jax behind us. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, but you're able to cap off a good season with a really solid run and get that team championship there. But before we sit off on away, any sponsors to thank for today's second place run?
As far as sponsors, it's always the suicide awareness and prevention, and that's always something that I race for. It's near and dear to my heart. Losing my dad coming up on 5 years now, and so I will forever race for that, and I will speak strongly on that every season, and being able to talk about it with everybody, especially at the end of the season when we have a few weeks off. One thing that's never talked about is the stigma that comes with guys always needing to be strong, and we can't show weakness. So if you're ever feeling down or ever in that position where you think that's the only option you got, definitely reach out. So like I said, that's always the number one sponsor and the only sponsor I've got.
And once again, congrats on your second place run and a really good season for you. And once again, congrats once again for capping off with a solid run and that team championship.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So that was Kyle Lanat, our second place finisher of today. We'll bring in our AM winner next, as we'll bring in Michael Sara, able to get that AM win to top off the season with a nice AM win there to top off the season. But what do you think you could do differently there in that final run to maybe try and take that race win away?
Yeah, it was a good little end there on the green-white checker. The gap opened up. I think there was a misshift in the bottom line. I was on the top line, so I was able to kind of go down to that opening and just ride it out and make my way to the AM win. The bottom line on that restart was was pretty strong, and I think I was able to pass Paul and stake the claim. So pretty good fortune for me, I think, to make it there to the end.
Yeah, you were able to get a solid fourth place run for the season, but you're also up there battling for early in the season. You're battling for that AM championship, but you didn't make a few little bit of races. But you're up there with that AM field pretty much a week in and week out. And you're gonna pick up a solid AM finish in the points. So just kind of how's that feel? Able to get a solid points finish and also just kind of get that final AM win to top off the year.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a great win. I think ultimately, I wish I could have had a little bit better attendance to really see, but unfortunately, some of the schedules just didn't align. But all in all, I think it was a great AM season, just not just for me, but for some of the others as well. So I think we really enjoyed it, and glad to be a part of the league and a part of the AM and challenging all of us racers for a good season. And so it was really fun.
Able to pick up able to get a win. Just came up a little bit short from the race win today, but you're still able to pick up a very solid finish. But before we send off on to make any sponsor link for today's AM win.
Got to thank my team, Seven Motorsports. So we have had attendance issues a little bit, like I was saying, but all four of us were able to make this race. And although it didn't work out great for some, Zach, a teammate, was finished right behind me in fifth. So pretty good showing. And I think we got a lot of strength, hopefully, going into next season for Seven Motorsports. So shout out to all those guys. And really everybody in the league. Got to give a shout out to Kevin Kyle for admin this year. I think it was a really exciting season, and I think his passion for the league was a big part of that. So thanks to Kyle and everybody else. So, yeah.
So once again, congrats on your AM win and on your season.
Thank you so much.
So that was Michael Starr, our fourth place finisher of today and our AM winner of today. And now we'll bring in our champions of the season. We'll bring in our pro champion of Jason Landry. A very strong run down the stretch in those final few races, and it really extend your points lead, and it paid off. Today you're able to come away with the pro championship. So just how does that feel for all this season to pay off?
It means a lot, honestly. I've put a lot of practice in this season. With the change of points, I knew that every single round was going to count, so you got to push hard and maximize every round. To beat the all-time great of Bonfire, the four-time champion David Medina, straight up in a championship fight, that's extra special for me, for sure.
Yeah, you able to kind of hang up front with your teammates tonight, and also you weren't fully out of it. Medina had a really good race, and you found some misfortune, but you were able to find good fortune and able to still at least keep it nice and clean today. So just kind of how was your night going in, and just trying to keep it clean and just trying to get that championship tonight.
Yeah, I knew I just had to keep it clean. So I think I was doing the math. I think I needed to finish 14th no matter what to win the championship. And if David, I think, scored as many points as possible, I just needed to finish 14th. So I just stayed up front, stayed safe. I had my teammates around me. We played it really well. And then once it came down to the wire, I just backed right off. I let everybody go by. I just sat behind. I knew Medina was a few laps down or 1 lap down. I just let everybody else battle it out, and I just stay safe to the line. It was a nice night. It wasn't, the nerves were a little bit there at the beginning, but as the race went on, it's just like, okay, it's just another day. And then our strategy worked fairly well as a team. It's really good evening for myself.
And you're still able to have it pay off, and just kept it clean, and you're able to walk away as the pro champion. Before we send you off on the way, any sponsor thing for the season and just the pro championship today?
Obviously, thanks to my team, all 4 guys. Even Joe was in here today. So it's Jared, that's Nick, Paul, and Joe. So thanks for helping me out today and all season. definitely, my birthday's actually on Tuesday, so I'm going to say happy birthday to myself, and this is a perfect gift to myself. But yeah, thanks for the broadcast. Thanks for Kevin for everything he put into this season, all these cool extra stuff he's done. And thanks to all the guys in BRL. It's so fun to come here as a crew and have our Sunday mornings all together, just hanging out as people. It's nice. So Dennis brought us all together, Dennis and Josh. Unfortunately, they can't be here with us, Dennis can't be here with us, but this one is especially the championship for Dennis. I really appreciate what he and his brother put together for all of us. So yeah, thanks to him and his family, and for allowing us to have some time with him on Sunday mornings.
And once again, congrats on your pro championship, and also happy birthday.
Thank you.
So that was Jason Landry, our pro champion. We'll bring in, last but not least of our interview segment today, we'll bring in our AM champion of Ricky Mandela Sr. Able to pick up the AM championship there. You didn't have it fully locked up coming into tonight. So what was kind of going through your head tonight? Today, just able to try and get that AM championship.
Well, I knew I had to finish at least 19 spots better than Jose Medina, and when he got black flagged on the start of that race, I decided to cruise around. I got out of the main pack and just rode around the backpack just to try to stay out of the wrecks. And then he got black flagged again, I think a second time, and went a couple laps down. And then it was just a matter of surviving it and staying out of the trouble.
You stayed out of the trouble until late, and kind of everything kind of all unraveled. But you only lost to Medina by 5 spots. So you're still able to solidly wrap it up. But just how does it feel able to just have the season pay off and able to get the AM championship?
Hey, it's an awesome feeling. I need to thank my teammates. I got to thank David Buell and Michael Benton. They've really been putting into practice time and spending time on the track with me each and every week. And I got to thank my wife for putting up with this crazy hobby that we've got. And it's an awesome feeling to be able to put it together. I won the Rookie of the Year trophy last season, and the AM champion trophy this season. So now it's to try and get to the top of the point standards for next season. Still got goals and still want to get those accomplished.
You're able to get that AM championship, and you're able to go in the next season with new goals, able to hopefully be able to complete those. But before it's sent up on me, any other sponsors, I think, for tonight's AM championship in this season?
Yep, I want to thank Animal House Customs for sponsorship on the cars for the team and sponsorship for the races for this season. I want to thank the admins, and they do a wonderful job and put on some great events this year. And I want to give a silent shout out to Dennis Puckett, one of the founders of the league. We lost him this year. He was instrumental in helping us believe that we can get this done.
And once again, congrats on your AM championship. We'll see you next season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So that was our AM champion, Ricky Mandela, our AM champion, and our long interview segment. Everyone deserving of their wins tonight, their positions. So Joseph Alpes, our race winner, Colin in second. Michael Sarr, our AM winner of the night, and also Jason Landry and Ricky Mandela are pro and AM champion respectively here from Daytona. But it was definitely a very fun night, fun day here from Daytona. We saw a great race. It came down to the ending in an overtime finish, and Joseph Alpes was able to take the win in this Cavok 250 here from Daytona. And that marks the end of the road here for the Bonfire Premier Cup Series, at least for this season, for season 13. So season 14 coming up soon. I hope to see. We'll see if we have it here on the Legends Racing Network. But it's definitely a very fun season that can broadcast here for the Bonfire Racing Premier Cup Series. So it's definitely fun. But coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network here after tonight here at today here at Daytona, on Thursday night we'll have the Undisputed Cup Series at Talladega for Chase Race Championship round number 2, race number 2 of their final round. That's the penultimate race of the season at Talladega, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday night for the Undisputed Cup Series. And on Friday night we'll have the NAR Cup Series at Darlington at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope to see you all there and hope you all join us here on the Legends Racing Network from there. So long here from the virtual World Center Racing, the virtual Daytona International Speedway. I'm Aaron Brown. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.